India, a land of opportunity, a land of learning, a land of tolerance, a land of tradition and values, a land where every citizen can reach his or her full potential, a land that is a beacon to the rest of the world. This is the India of our dreams. Can we make this a reality? Can we rejuvenate the Indian Republic? Dr. Jayaprakash Narayan of Lok Satta emphatically believes that it is the power of the people that will drive India closer to the ideals of a visionary government.
If India didn't have this potential, then none of us need to be worried. After all, in another 500 years we will definitely do better. But India has immense potential which is vastly unfulfilled. And that is a shame. If there is a sin, and that sin is in unfulfilled potential. If there is a sin, that sin is in avoidable suffering. And by these two yardsticks, India probably has the greatest sum total of all sins in the world.
Lok Satta, people power, a grassroots organization in India, is attempting to question government inadequacies and inefficiencies and lobbying for reforms through peaceful self-help. It all started when an IAS officer, Dr. Jayaprakash Narayan, questioned the very principles of government that he was representing. A physician by training, a public servant by choice, and a Democrat by conviction, Dr. Narayan's experience with the government convinced him that what India needs is not merely a periodic change in the players, but a fundamental change in the rules of the game. In order to transform his vision into reality, he resigned from the IAS in 1996 and founded Lok Satta, a non-political movement for electoral and governance reforms in India.
The real strength of Lok Satta is something like 30 to 40% of the people of Andhra Pradesh stand by Lok Satta. It's a massive popular movement with a wide support base.
Today, through the rallying force of Lok Satta and other organizations, Dr. Narayan has helped bring about the Supreme Court ruling of May 2, 2002, stating that candidates contesting elections must disclose their criminal records, if any, their assets and liabilities, and their educational qualifications. Through the initiatives of organizations like Lok Satta, a national coalition was created under the leadership of Dr. Narayan, National Campaign for Electoral Reforms. National campaign members met with President Abdul Kalam on returning the oppressive ordinance opposing the Supreme Court ruling. It is due to this meeting that the President decided to return the undemocratic ordinance back to the Government of India. This is one of the rare occasions when a President has returned an ordinance. Speaks volumes about the power of the people. Today, several elected officials are individuals with criminal histories or people with a propensity towards violence. Does India really need criminals as governing authorities? For the 1999 elections, Lok Satta volunteers worked tirelessly organizing a postbox number 100 and launched a media awareness campaign exhorting voters to anonymously send in any information they had about the candidates. After diligent verification by a panel of eminent jurists and citizens, a list of 46 candidates with criminal records was released. It created a sensation and forced the political parties into retreat. In India, it is easy to convince the illiterate populace to convene in favor of a political party with threats, bribes, and brute force. One of Lok Satta's critical goals is fair elections, which is central to a democracy. Election Watch. Lok Satta's pioneering work in Hyderabad demonstrated that up to 40% of voter rolls were flawed, resulting in much needed reforms in voter registration and electoral rolls correction. Thanks to Lok Satta's efforts, the Election Commission agreed in principle to make the post office a nodal agency for voters to register easily. Lok Satta has organized debates between candidates for public office so that the citizens can make informed decisions regarding their votes. Bribery and corruption, This problem is so deeply rooted into India's bureaucracy that it is impossible for the common man to fight the forces of corruption and survive. Lok Satta cited touts at property registration offices who were forced to refund the bribes collected. Lok Satta launched a drive to stop adulteration and short delivery of petrol at the pumps. Due to their efforts, the meters were set right at 1,500 pumps across the state of Andhra Pradesh, resulting in a savings of almost 1,000 crores. Lack of sanitation. The lack of hygiene is a besetting problem in India. People do not have the resources to engage in good sanitation practices. Lok Satta's advocacy of toilets in every household as a democratic right of citizens compelled the state government to accept it as a government program, resulting in widespread construction of over 1 million toilets in the past 2 years.
Spotless home, but dirty streets and dirty neighbor's backyard. No sense of common fate. We don't realize that if somebody else is suffering some injustice somewhere, which ought not to be there, then we in some form are the victims, if not today, tomorrow. It affects all of us. The sense of common fate is missing.
We have quality people who could make a difference in Silicon Valley. These are the people who accomplish certain degree of success in their personal life, in their professional life, and they have the ability, qualifications, contacts and resources to bring in changes. And you know, I am one of the part of the crowd, and with those things and with commitment to JP's cause and agreeing to his philosophy, I think I will be able to work in conjunction with the senior TIE charter members as well as other successful entrepreneurs and citizens here, including Indians as well as non-Indians, to help Lok Satta through FDRI in so many ways.
I think Lok Satta's vision basically sums out what I think is the vision of any individual or organization is one of empowerment. You know, empowerment of people to make changes which are good for them, you know, allow them a taste of democracy in its true form, such that they are involved in the democracy and in the country, type of country, you know, they create and they want to live in.
The reason that India has gone in the direction in terms of the difficulties with the election process and the democratic process and judiciary is because the citizens have not stayed engaged. The middle class basically did not stay engaged with the process and they neglected it. So what Lok Satta does is it brings people's awareness of the problems that are affecting them and the society in which they live. So they have to wake up and do something about it. So I have a strong belief that what he is doing is going to catch hold. And I think the good example is the Supreme Court's ruling on electoral reform. That would not have happened if a program like Lok Satta was not there.
What Lok Satta is now trying to do is build networks in each of the major states of India, by whatever name they are called, with local flavor, with local people, with knowledge of local language and local conditions, and help them build a major movement across the whole state, not merely in small bits and pieces, not in a village or two, but in a whole state. It's a positive, constructive kind of a movement, not to bring down somebody, but to bring in an alternative system, which actually brings in true democracy and genuine governance.
You, the people, are the voice. Let us give this voice resonance and raise it in collective protest. It is the power of the people. Lok Satta.
This country can be changed. There is no reason to despair at all. While some things are bad, not everything is bad. This self-flagellation, this desperate desire to deride ourselves, to think that the grass is greener on the other side of the fence, is utterly irrational. You will find every society is here to many problems and many opportunities too, as we are. We have to make the most of our opportunities. We have to minimize our problems.
Foundation for Democratic Reforms in India is a non-profit organization in US with goals similar to Lok Satta. Donations to FDRI are tax exempt in the US. For more information about Lok Satta and FDRI, visit loksatta.org.